Hello, everybody, and welcome on into Sidelines. On today's show, we head over to the desk to talk baseball's opening weekend and track's big meet in Boston. Welcome back here to Sidelines. Let's talk baseball as the opening weekend has come and went in a successful weekend for the Mansfield baseball team. We're now joined by Brittain Shander and Nate Cotton. Thank you both so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us.
So let's talk about that. First of all, how good does it feel to finally get outside on a baseball diamond, able to play?
It feels great, man. I mean, in Mansfield in the Northeast, it's always cold when you start playing at the beginning of the season. So getting down south North Carolina, it's always good. Yeah, it's just a huge relief. All the guys are itching to play and just to finally be outside and just play and feel how things are going. It's great.
So the first game there against Lemoyne obviously didn't ultimately go the way that we would have wanted that to, but what are some of the things you can take away from that game and what happened late in that game?
Well, first we just had just itching to get outside. We haven't been outside in a while. It's trying to find things that are working and going along, and made a few mistakes along the way, stuff to work on, but looking back at it, we did a lot of great things, putting up 7 runs in the first 4 or 5 innings. It's just good to see that we have that mentality of going out and trying to get the job done. Yeah, going off what he said, this team, you can, when you're in the dugout, you can just feel the energy between everybody. The chemistry in the team is just great. So when we get into conference play, it's going to be big. Playing as a team, gelling as a team, that's going to really carry us to our wins.
So then the next day, Assumption, and you brought out the brooms, the full sweep. Let's talk about that first game. It was a close one, back and forth. Well, what was the key for the victory in that one?
Defense. I would say it was a low-scoring game. Pitching, Primo was on. So was their pitcher. It was really just pitch and duel. That's all it came down to. Yeah, I totally agree. Primo threw a really good game, and we just had some guys come in late to throw and keep us just in that one-run game to win it.
And then the very next one, and you guys seem to like extra innings right now because 2 out of the 3 games went into extra innings. But a walk-off for you, how did that feel? It felt great. I mean, first game I was kind of struggling, and then when we were doing working on live pitching, I was sort of struggling still. So when I got up there, big situation, I was relaxed, saw the fastball, got it, hit it, and even though it was a little blooper, but got the job done, man. And I brought Brittain, you over the line there for the finish. So that stadium actually is where USA Baseball trains. What did it mean, and how was it to play on that field? It's beautiful. I mean, the field is very well manicured, and there's no holes in the outfield. There's no lips in the infield. The dirt is soft, and it's just amazing to play there. They played like turf almost. Yeah. It was crazy. Yeah, it was great. So let's talk about this belt here because we have it in front of us. This is new for this year. Yep. I'm guessing you have the belt for the moment. So talk me through what exactly does the belt mean? I guess for Mansfield the past couple of years they've had a bad reputation, and this, I guess, it sort of keeps people in the game, and you're playing really well. People want the belt, man. I don't know. It's just got that sort of cling to it, I guess. Yeah, you do something big, something that people remember. You get to keep the belt for a little bit. Yeah, took a page from the WWE with the Man of the Day belt over there. I love it. Yeah. Let's talk about, because it was a long trip. It's a long bus ride, very long bus ride there. What is the key to adapting, to getting ready after that long bus ride for the games coming up? For me, I guess the biggest thing was just like mental preparedness.
listening to music on the bus, just getting in the zone, getting focused. Really, that's all it is.
Yeah, I just think staying relaxed, staying within yourself, and not getting all antsy and in your head is probably the biggest thing.
And now looking forward to another lengthy bus ride coming up this weekend, heading down to West Virginia. What do you expect from this weekend?
I would say same thing as we just did. Should have came out 3-0 this weekend. So we're going to have a lot of momentum going forward, especially this weekend. Before we get into conference play, PSAC's really competitive, really good teams. So this is just going to get us ready to go, keep the ball rolling.
Yeah, I totally agree with Nate. We just got to stay hungry and come out with fire. Yeah. Just keep the hammer going.
Yeah, keep swinging the bats, man.
Yeah.
And of course, this year being a Coach Shalott coming back. Brittain, you were here before, Nate. This is your first year with this program. So I guess the first part of this question is more towards you, Brittain. What have you seen in terms of the changes and some of the things that have been done differently here at the beginning of the season?
There's just a lot more. There's a lot more. How can I say this? There's a lot more chemistry within the team. Yeah. Chemistry is very big this year, and Coach is preaching chemistry, and he wants all of us to be together. And he's doing a great job right now. It's great.
And then for you, Nate, coming in and joining this group, having a couple of down years in the past, but what have you seen in your first couple of months with this team that really makes you look towards the future and have a positive outlook on it?
I mean, when we're out there, we're just a bunch of savages, man. We just love to play. I don't know, we're aggressive. Like you said, the chemistry in the team is fantastic. So it's a lot of fun. Honestly, it's a lot of fun playing on this team.
Yeah, also I think Coach Gonk is bringing a lot to the table too. He has a lot of knowledge about the game and is relaying that information to us, giving us some insight on what to do in situations, and it's working out so far.
Yeah, it's all about buying into their process and what they're preaching to us, and that's what we're doing, and it's working so far. So.
Yep.
So you guys have mentioned the chemistry aspect of the team, but what exactly are the things that translates to in when you guys are playing? What does that chemistry that is solid, what kind of things does that make easier playing?
Communication.
Yeah.
Communication on the baseball field is huge because you gotta relay things to the other guys on the field, and there could be a crowd there yelling and screaming, and it's hard to hear when that ball goes straight up in the air and you're trying to focus on that and you're trying to listen for if there's a fence coming or not. But communication is the biggest thing.
Yeah, communication. That's really all it is.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. Congratulations on a great weekend. Enjoy the belt for longer. And thank you so much for stopping by.
Yeah, thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Sidelines continues after this. Do not go anywhere. Welcome back into Sidelines. Joining me at the desk now to talk men's track and field is the head coach, Coach Mike Rohl. Thanks for stopping by.
No problem, Drew. Glad to be here.
So this past week was the longest indoor trip of the year up to Boston. maybe just slightly longer than Ohio, but still a long trip up to Boston. What were some of the standout moments from this trip?
Well, there were a lot. It was just one standout moment after another. I think for the kids, being part of what is now recognized as the largest indoor track and field meet in the world, with 4,000 participants and 5,000 entries. I think for them that was just incredible. They got to see professionals run in both the 3,000 and the 5,000 and be able to run on what many regard as the fastest indoor track in the world as well. So it was a major highlight in that perspective. After that, we can go right down the list. We can start with Lindsay Payne. Michelle has, the women's distance coach, has really got her prepared, and she ran I think it was an 18-second PR, breaking down into 10:38 range. I think that's like her 6th or 7th personal best in a row now. So she really responded well to the competition and ran a really good race, negative split it, very well executed. And then the next day we came back and Kevin Heeman started us off. He got an 18 or 20-second PR in the 3,000 meters, dropping. He skipped the 850s completely, dropped right into the 840s. He really responded well and now has the number 2 time in the conference, number 7 all time. Got the freshman record away from his teammate Christian Tanner. They've been trading back and forth on that. So then we go into, oh my gosh, so after that it was the guys in the 60 who ran solidly, and then both Ramdy and Henry came back and ran personal best in the 200. Again, that every meet they've run the 200, they've gotten faster. It was a big time for Ramdy, who broke 24 seconds for the first time and was really excited. Terrence was a little off on the 400, didn't quite run a PR, but was close. And the same with Mamadou, who's actually had the flu all last week. Very close to a PR, but not right there, just a 10th or so off. So those guys were looking really solid. Senior Travis Keefe, it's the first time that he's really gotten to the level where he could go to a meet like this. And he was super excited about everything because he is a track fanatic, loves all the pros, knows all of them. He's quite the fanboy sometimes. He ran 2:39 for the 1,000, and that was a personal best by 6 seconds. It was a significant improvement in his racing. Christian Tanner ran a PR. He did not have a good race, but he ran a PR. We were hoping for a bigger breakthrough than what he had. But afterwards, we had a good conversation about the things that we need to do when we're at those big meets, because he kind of made a freshman mistake and warmed up 3 times. Which just deadens your legs. And then he came back with a solid 4x4. Caden Fisher had a solid run in the hurdles. The hurdlers, they're one of those events, like the distance runners, they can alternate their events and they can get PRs and they can drop a few seconds here. It's hard to do that on the hurdles. And he caught the first hurdle and twisted and was off a little bit. But otherwise, he had a good 4x4 leg as well. So overall, I think I got everybody in there. But overall, it was a good trip, and we're super excited to have been able to get to go.
Well, you mentioned there the freshman mistake at the big meet for Christian Tanner or Travis liking these big meets. How different is that aspect of this for your athletes to get this experience at a massive meet like this?
Oh, well, so this is kind of an interesting thing because we really have to think long term when you have athletes as good as we have right now in this freshman class. So as I explained to Christian about the process of warming up and how to deal with that better the next time, because we had gone over it. He just is a very excitable young man, and he kept getting up and going out and running for a couple miles. And I think by the end of the day, he had almost 10 miles in. But so one of the things that's really important is when you have an athlete like Christian or Terrence or Kevin, they're going to make it to nationals probably their junior year. And the way they're going to make it to nationals is they're going to go to the Boston University invite in the middle of February, and they're going to qualify there. Because that's how that works. Mm-hmm. You can go down the national list and you can see the top 15 times. 10 of them came from Boston University 5 of them came from Notre Dame Invitational, right? Because everybody goes to those places to run fast that weekend. They get their PRs, they advance to nationals. So for them to go up as freshmen and be able to learn like that, what that's like, and understand the importance of 3 years from now on this weekend, you're qualifying for nationals. You've got to be ready to go that day. You cannot make these little mistakes, because the reality is nobody qualifies for nationals at Bucknell University. The competition just isn't there. So you don't get a second chance at it. So huge for them to get up there and to learn how to travel for 7 hours, how to handle being in a hotel, how to handle the meals, how to handle the competition venue, knowing not to sit all day long or stand all day long before they race. All those things are key to advancing those kids to the national championships at a later point in their career.
Yeah, you mentioned that the freshman class has been outstanding for you this season. As we look forward, there's still a week before the PSAC championships.
Right.
So this week, what are some of the focuses, and who are some of the athletes who are still trying to break through that barrier and qualify for the PSAC?
The only athlete that we have that is not qualified in an individual event that we expect to qualify is Mamadou. And we reasonably expected him to qualify this weekend, except he came down with the flu early in the week. So he'll be taking a shot at the 400, but the rest of them are running events that they are not going to be running at conference. We are set. In fact, other than Mamadou, we were set a month ago at the beginning of the month as to who was going to run what at the championships. So then we've just been able to focus on getting ready for that. Yeah, they're like Terrence is going to try for the freshman record in the 500. Christian's probably going to run the 800 or the 1,000 again. Kevin's probably going to run the mile. So they're going to run events that they're not going to run at the conference championship, and just kind of work on their racing skills a little bit in their preparation and that kind of thing. So
as you prepare for the conference meet, then is that just a strategy to try and get their mind off of that big event that they'll have to do at the championship level?
I don't know if it's so much that we have to get their mind off of it. It's a natural thing to want to do something different in preparation. So for like a 5K, 3K runner, you wouldn't have them run that event the week before, because those take a toll on them. You want them to be a little race sharp and work on some of their tactics, so you race them in a shorter distance. So that's kind of where they're at with that.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you so much for stopping by.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Absolutely. Sidelines continues after this. Do not go anywhere.
Small community, close-knit, it's beautiful. Now, as we join UPMC, it just opens a whole new world.
Together, UPMC and Susquehanna Health are bringing life-changing medicine to north central Pennsylvania.
UPMC brings extraordinary innovation to virtually every aspect of the work we do.
Exchanging ideas, sharing research, it's a tremendous opportunity to learn in real time with world-class experts.
Changing lives every day. UPMC Susquehanna.
Welcome back here to Sidelines. Joining me at the desk to talk women's track and field is Rylie Mong and Madison Fox. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Yeah, thank you.
So let's talk about this, your freshman year, your first year here with this group. Did you guys do indoor track and field at the high school level?
Go ahead.
I did, yes.
I've never done indoor track, no.
So what has been the biggest transition? And you can talk to this too. In your event, the biggest transition from the outside to the indoor, there are some subtle differences in your events. What are those differences?
Definitely practicing inside is a lot different. You're not as cold outside, or inside, I mean, but I kind of like it better because your muscles stay warmer when you're inside, and I don't know, I think I prefer indoor better.
I mean, I agree with Maddie, but with the indoor for practices, there is the instance of having to set up the pole vault pit and the runway and get that all set up before we can even start to practice.
I have to say, with the pole vault, though, the two differences, I mean, really in the high jump, you can say this too, of windage and weather effect.
Yeah.
That's not a factor in the indoor. So what are some of the things you look to focus on for those indoor practices or even those indoor meets to make sure that technique is down? That way, when the wind does come back into a factor, it's not too much.
I definitely think it's a lot easier to jump inside for sure because there's no wind. The bar's not getting knocked down without even touching it. So I don't know. I think there's nothing really we'd change. I think our approach is the same, but definitely the nature side of it, the weather doesn't affect us as much, so that's good.
With pole vault, indoor, I try to work on, we try to work on shorter steps more and work on the top end of the technique so that when the wind is coming, we don't have to think about the top end and turning as much as we would. How do we not practice that during the indoor season?
So this year, what have been some of the standout moments thus far with you guys? You're both qualified for the conference meet already, so I'm sure that's up there. But what were some of the biggest moments that have stood out to you guys thus far?
Well, I've only competed in 3 meets, and I only cleared a bar at one of those meets, my first meet, and I guess that's the moment that stuck out with me because that's when I qualified for PSACs, and then the next 2 meets I just didn't do as well.
You just need the one, though, to qualify for the conference meet.
Yeah, I think apart from jumping, just meeting the new girls and having such a good coach as Coach Mack, just that environment alone, I think apart from jumping, that has stood out to me a lot. The girls here are great. I'm really thankful for them and for a good coach like Coach Mack. So I think that just alone is good for the first year.
So let's talk about that team camaraderie, because I think in terms of track, a lot of people don't really understand the true team camaraderie because they see there's a bunch of different events going on, but you guys still hang out together, you're a team. What has the team camaraderie been like on this group?
Yeah, it's definitely a smaller team. I came from a basketball background, so it was definitely different team bonding from that to track. But it's definitely, we know that we have our own events and everything, so we know that we need to be there for each other and be there to support each other as much as possible. So.
In high school, we had our individual groups. We had the pole vaulters, we had the high jumpers, the long jump distance. We had all those different ones, but here we all get along really well. We go to dinner together, and we all get along, and we all hang out, and we're all really good friends.
How important do you think is that, too, the fact that you have that support and you're not broken up into groups like you say happened in high school?
I think it's really good, especially when one of us is going through something and we're having a rough time. We all band together and we help that person out. Or if multiple of us are going through something, we all just we stick together and we help each other through it.
Yeah, with a small group like that, everyone knows kind of everyone's deal and what's going on. So it's definitely nice to have that support system and just be close-knit like that.
So looking forward, in a couple of weeks is the PSAC Championship at Edinburgh. So mindset going in, and perhaps Coach Mack has maybe already talked to you, but what do you guys have to do to know that, yes, it is a championship meet, but you don't want to get in your head about the fact that it is that championship meet? So what are these strategies, or what were some of the things told to you guys to try and get ready to level your head come that time?
Yeah, Coach Mack is definitely a calm coach, so he doesn't make us all worked up. I think a big thing is just not changing anything. I know it's going to be a bigger atmosphere and it's going to be more intense, but I think Coach Mac is going to calm us down, and like we're not going to change our approach or a jump or anything. It's just going to be a normal meet. So
with no hiding the past 2 meets, I just kind of need to get back into my mindset of that I've jumped before. I've cleared these heights many times before, and I know what I'm doing. So I just need to get back into that mindset before PSACs.
You know, I think, and with jumping and vaulting, both of you guys have very mental sports as well as the physical activity of it. Talk a little bit about that mental side of your event and what are the crucial things going into it?
With me, I get in my head a lot. I had a Bible verse that I always kind of repeated in my head, and I got it tattooed on my arm. So that's kind of one of the things that gets me out of my head and helps me get back in the zone where I need to be so that I can jump the way I know how to.
Yeah, it's definitely a visualization game. You have to, before you jump, you have to mentally see yourself doing it, or else, I think that's a big part of it. So mentally, I think it's just not letting yourself get in your head and just knowing that you can do this. You've done this before, so just go do it.
So as you guys also not only have the conference meet coming up, but you then have the outdoor season coming up on the horizon. What do you expect? Because, I mean, it's great that we have a KFC here, that you guys can get the practices indoors, but that immediate transition from the indoor to the outdoor, what do you expect in that first meet or so after the indoor season's over?
Yeah, I expect a lot of good things. I think it's a good transition. Outdoor is a lot more fun. Outdoor, there's, I think, more energy and we're more excited to be outside and like getting going, and warmer weather hopefully to come. So yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree with Maddie, and I'm just going to be happy not having to set my pit up every time we want to practice.
Well, as of right now, there is still snow on the ground, but hopefully we get closer and closer to being able to just go outside and enjoy the spring weather coming up soon. Thank you both so much for stopping by.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And Sidelines continues after this. Do not go anywhere.
It's all part of Mother Nature's perfect blend, the keystone of the Keystone State. Visit Potter Tioga, a 2-county scenic outdoor haven conveniently located, yet worlds apart. A place where you can kick back, unwind, and forget about the pressures of life. Disconnect and reconnect with your friends, family, or even yourself while surrounded by nature's beauty. So start planning your adventures today at visitpottertioga.com.
That's going to do it for us this week, folks. To stay up to date on all things Mountaineer Athletics, head over to GoMounties.com. Thanks for watching.